One of the great things about OSRS is that there's so many types of activities you can do. I mean, there's something for everyone, like PVM, PvP, skilling, pet hunting, raiding, flipping, Iron Man, or even just bank standing and socializing with the clan. Most players enjoy a few of these categories of activities, but even if there was only one that you enjoyed and chose to specialize in, you could spend thousands of hours on any one of these and still not be done with it. The topic of this video is going to be focused on those people interested in the collection log, and more specifically, as the title of the video implies, collection log slots you can get on the way to getting your skills to 99. The reason this is important is because, for example, it would be a shame to get 99 thieving at Arty Nights, only to realize that you could have done Pyramid Plunder on the road to 99 thieving to passively get the Pharaoh Sceptre collection log slot. Now you're going to have to spend hours thieving after already getting 99 if you want to get that log slot filled in. So the point is, you may as well have gone for it along the way to 99, considering if you were going to eventually do it anyways, right? I understand that some slots may be sped up once you get 99 in a skill, but most things in this video do not fall into that category, and in fact, most are more efficient overall to actually go for on the road to 99 rather than waiting till later. I'm going to start off by saying that I'm not including any combats or slayer in this video. I was almost going to include prayer, but then I realized it'd be like finishing the log for Hydra and DKs and really every single slayer related collection log slot while having the Bone Crusher, Ash Sanctifier, and Ectoplasmator giving you passive prayer XP. I'd basically be listing every boss and slayer collection log in the game and then saying pick what you enjoy, which doesn't sound very helpful because only you know what you enjoy. And that logic with prayer can be applied to all the combat skills and slayer, which is why I'm not including them in this video. I'm going to be going one skill at a time and going over all the logs for that skill I was able to come up with before moving on to the next skill. If there is anything important I end up missing, I'll either make a list in the description or pinned comment, so make sure to look out for that. Note that some collection log slots I will repeat multiple times because they're relevant for more than one skill. The order I'll be going in is starting from the first column of skills, going top to bottom, then the second column from top to bottom, then the third column. And with all that said, let's get into the first skill, Runecraft. Yes, it's called Runecraft, not runecrafting. There's not much variety of log slots related to Runecraft. Pretty much all of them come from the minigame Guardians of the Rift. It's part of the natural progression of the skill nowadays, with most players starting their Runecraft training at this minigame, and it's decent Runecraft XP at any given level. While it's not always necessarily the best XP, there's a lot of collection log slots and a pet to get from it, and you may not even get the pet even if you stay there all the way until level 99. If you did want to leave to do more traditional runecrafting though, you don't have to feel bad because there is a normal Runecraft pet that you cannot get from the minigame. But at the very least, before moving on from GOTR, I'd recommend completing the outfit, which lets you craft 60% more runes anywhere, and the Abyssal Needle to create the Colossal Pouch. You can't make the pouch until 85 Runecraft, but once you get to that point, you'll be glad that you stayed there long enough to get the needle. Making the boots from Cerberus requires 60 Runecraft. I know it's not a lot of XP, but I wanted to mention it before moving on to the next skill, which is Construction. Construction is also a pretty empty and boring one, with the only thing being mahogany homes. This includes the Carpenter's outfit, which gives you a 2.5% construction XP boost. There's also an equipable saw, and the plank sack, which lets you hold 28 extra planks with you. You really want to get this log done as soon as possible in your construction journey, especially the plank sack if you're an Iron Man, because if you're chopping teaks in Prif or oaks by the rock sawmill, this will allow you to make 2 inventories of planks per trip instead of 1. Next skill is Agility. The first thing I would do is the Brimhaven Agility Arena because it's close to, if not the best XP in the game at lower levels. The first 2 slots are free, and the rest of it will require 1,050 tickets, which take 17.5 hours or 16 hours if you have Karamja Elite done. Then there's the Rooftop Agility collection log, which means full graceful, and the Mark of Grace, which is a free log slot. There's the Apatol Agility course Monkey Backpacks, which you need to do 2,000 laps at. There was a recent update that makes it so that you now get Marks of Grace from this course, so you don't even need to do Rooftop Agility to get the Rooftop Agility log done. You don't stop failing the Apatol course until 75 agility, so you might might want to wait until then to do it. Hollowed Sepulchre you can do from 52 agility, but I'd recommend starting at 82, which gives you access to the first 4 floors. You can loot all the coffins for hollowed marks to unlock all the main items, and also get used to learning the 4th floor so that by the time you get 92 agility for the final floor, you won't struggle getting past floor 4. By going about Sepulchre that way, I think that should speed up the overall process of going for the Ring of Endurance. While you technically don't need more than 1, maybe 2, I think only 1 set of Graceful to get all the agility collection log slots, Graceful is storable in the POH as all their unique colors, so if filling up your costume room is a goal, then keep that in mind. And one last random item is the Merfolk Trident. You get this from the Underwater Agility and Thieving training method, and if you don't like the traditional way to train at least one of these skills, it might be a method worth looking into. Number 4 is Herblore. There's an Herblore minigame that's supposed to be coming out with Varlamore Part 2 in the coming months that has some useful rewards that I'm guessing will end up being collection log slots, including an imbued amulet of chemistry, a skilling outfit, potion storage, and more. One of the proposals is a secondary bag that may let you store 30 of each secondary. They even say you'd be able to use it to create potions with, which would completely change the usual 14-14 style of potion making to allow you to make 27 at a time of any potion. But currently you can only make 27 potions at a time if it has a stackable secondary like making stamina potions with amylase. Herbivore is another log slot that will let you get some passive XP on the way to 99. You get a tiny bit of XP for each one that you catch and 3 herbs that scale based on your Herblore level. You can Google Herbivore calculator to get to this one on OSRS portal, and after you enter in your stats and gear and whatnot, it'll tell you how much Herblore XP that you bank per hour. And in this case, with 80 Herblore, that's 21.6k banked XP per hour, which is pretty good considering that this is mainly meant to be a hunter training method. The Evil Chicken outfit is a bit of a stretch, but you get Bird's Nest from doing your birdhouse runs, which you need as secondaries for Herblore, and some of those nests have eggs, which give you a chance for the Evil Chicken pieces, so make sure to do your birdhouse runs now. And finally, there's a lot of bosses that give you Herblore secondaries or herbs, and each of those bosses have pets and other uniques. For example, you get nests from Giant Mole, giant egg sacs from Sarachnis, scaly hides and superior dragon bones from Vorkath, wines of Zamrak from Calphite Queen, Cerberus, Calvarion, TOB. I mean, there's so many more secondaries to list and so many sources of herbs. Just pick out the bosses that you like, and let's move on to thieving. With 50 thieving and 50 agility, you can do the Rogue's Den minigame to get the Rogue's outfit, which takes on average under an hour and a half to do if you know what you're doing, which is pretty easy to figure out with the Rogue's Den plugin. This outfit gives guaranteed double loot from pickpocketing, and I would argue that everyone should get it even if you don't care about the collection log. The Pharaoh sceptre from Pyramid Plunder is worth 2 mil at the moment, and you're generally going to want 3 of them. 1 for the occult altar, 1 to keep in the master stash unit, and 1 to keep in the bank for teleporting around. You could get away with 2 because you don't need to build the stash, but once you're in the end game going for completion stuff, especially as an Iron Man, you'll be glad that you got a 3rd one early on in your journey and don't have to go back now. As a main account, you only have to get 1 yourself for the collection log, the other 2 you could buy on the GE. Pyramid Plunder is some of the best thieving XP in the game, so not only are you going for a collection log slot, but you'll also be speeding up your thieving training. It does require more attention than Arty Knights, but I think it's still pretty chill. You can thieve enhanced crystal teleport seeds from elves, and you could thieve blood shards from buyers, both of which you'll want the Rogue's outfit for. Both of these, there's also the option you can get them from combat with the respective monsters, but you only get 1 compared to the 2 you would get with thieving, and it's faster on average to thieve them. It is better to go for these after 99 thieving, but everyone has different goals, and hey, I'm just here to give you your options so you can decide what's best for yourself. And if you don't believe in post 99 thieving XP, then meeting the drop rate for thieving these 2 items for the log slots will get you a decent amount of thieving XP on the road to 99. The Xeric's Talisman is 1 out of 300 from thieving stone chests. You'd probably want to get it from shamans, but if you are a skiller or if you're going for medium clues, then you can thieve stone chests for that log slot. And lastly, reiterating the Merfolk Trident, doing the underwater thieving and agility method because it does involve thieving. For crafting, everything I came up with is a bit of a stretch, and there's really no important collection logs that heavily involve crafting that are important to get on the road to 99. But with that said, once you've started the Pirate Pete section of Recipe for Disaster, you can go underwater for the fresh crab claw and fresh crab shell, and they're pretty much free log slots. They only take a couple minutes to get. You don't even need crafting for the log slots. That's only to make them into the equipable versions, which aren't log slots, but I figured this would help some people that didn't know about it. For the Shades of Morton collection log, one of the methods for collecting sacred oil gets you a little bit of crafting XP. I know, I'm really stretching it for crafting. Making crystal keys into enhanced crystal keys requires 80 crafting and 80 smithing, and gives you 500 XP for each skill per key. There's 5 pieces of the Dragonstone armor set, and each piece is 1 in 2500, and you can get dupes, which means to meet the drop rate for all 5 is going to take a lot more than 2500 keys. I'm not a stats guy, but I think that means it's around 5700 keys on average to meet the drop rate of getting at least one of each piece. If it is 5700 keys, that would be 2.85 mil crafting and 2.85 mil smithing XP. As an Iron Man, it is extremely unrealistic to get that many keys, not only before maxing, but in the entire lifetime of your account, unless you go way out of the way for it and all the crystal shards needed. You'll be better off waiting for Jagex to add dupe protection to this in a few years rather than going for it now. Another stretch is birdhouses again. You do get crafting XP for making birdhouses, and once again, birdhouses give you eggs for the evil chicken outfit. I guess last thing I'll say about crafting is that there's a lot of things you can use crafting to make that you can store in the POH, and crafting all these things aren't collection log slots, and this doesn't really matter for mains because you could buy all of them off the GE, but for Iron Man out there, maybe filling up the POH with these craftable items is something that you're interested in, because I figure most people that go for collection log slots probably also go for completionist kind of stuff. Moving on to Fletching, the only collection logs I could think of is Trouble Brewing. Within the minigame, you can get Fletching XP, and I haven't tried it myself, but supposedly it's really good Fletching and cooking XP, even from low levels, which could be a big boost early on for Iron Man. Another idea, or something to keep in mind, is that whatever log slots you're going for, consider if you can fletch while you're doing it, whether it's darts or broad arrows. Darts are better because you don't have to wait to open that fletching interface and there's no delay for making them, but if you're an Iron Man, you're not really going to have darts in bulk, at least not in the same way you're going to have broad arrows or headless arrows to fletch. But either way, there's a lot of things you could do while fletching, like herbivore, pest control, mahogany homes, agility, and so much more. In fact, my group Iron Man teammate recently made a video on activities you can do to multi-skill with fletching, and I'll link that in the description if you want more in-depth ideas. Next, we have Hunter. Oh man, I've been looking forward to talking about this. Wait until you hear about birdhouse runs and the evil chicken out. Next skill is Hunter, which has a training method with a collection log slot called Herbivore. Okay, besides for Herbivore, there's 2 other hunter pets. There's the Chinchampa pet you get from hunting chins, and the Kateson pet you get from doing Hunter Guild rumors. It would be better to focus on rumors for the Kateson pet first, because there's a chance you can get the Chin or the Herbivore pet along the way. Rumors are like Slayer tasks for Hunter because you get assigned to hunt a certain thing, and you can be assigned Chins or Herbivore. When you complete the rumors, you get a reward sack which has a 1 out of 1000 chance to give the Kateson pet, along with everything else in this collection log section. And along the way to getting the Kateson pet, you should get the rest of the collection log done for the Hunters Guild. The aerial fishing collection log takes a crazy amount of time, but it gives hunter, fishing, and a bit of cooking XP. It is decent XP rates, although you get a higher chance for mulch pearls the higher your hunter and fishing levels are. It's one of those things that is more efficient to do after 99, but it feels like it drags on forever, and because of that, it might be a bit more enjoyable if you go there before 99 and you're doing it for XP, rather than having the mindset of being there for the endless mulch pearl grind. Last collection log item to mention for Hunter is the Elven Signet. It's 1 out of 128 from catching Crystal Implings, and Crystal Implings give 280 Hunter XP each, which means the total XP to meet the drop rate is about 36k Hunter XP. I know it's not a lot, but you know what? Someone watching this video is going to be like, hey, that's a good idea I didn't think about before. I'm going to do that today. Next skill, we've got mining. I'd start off by going to Motherlode Mine and finishing that collection log, especially the outfit, which will give you 2.5% bonus XP. You need the helmet anyways for the Fally Hard Diary, and Motherlode is decent XP for lower levels. And let's be realistic, most players aren't going to be doing Volcanic Mine or Tick Manipulation Granite, so for a lot of players, this is going to be their best or close to their best method anyways. If you really don't like Motherlode, but you want the log slots ASAP, you can sell things back for 80% of the cost returned to you. I would at the very least recommend keeping the coal bag though if you're an Iron Man, because it's a huge detriment not having it for Blast Furnace. The dragon pick requires 61 mining, so it would be ideal if you have one by the time you get to that point. If you're a main account, of course, you can just buy it and worry about the log slot later. But I think most Ironmen wouldn't have the means to grind for a D pick if they're at the stage where they have 61 mining. There is another collection log slot, the Broken Dragon Pickaxe, which you get from Volcanic Mine, but it takes a lot longer on average than getting it from bossing, and it costs 2.5 mil to repair into a regular dragon pick. So don't feel bad not having a D pick on your iron until way later beyond 61 mining. That is very normal. Keep in mind, the Broken Dragon Pickaxe is a separate collection log slot than the regular dragon pick. They also recently added the Prospector outfit to the Volcanic Mine reward shop and its collection log, but it takes a lot longer than getting it from Motherlode. And by the way, if you didn't know, if an item is listed in multiple areas of the collection log, no matter where you get them from, it'll be filled out for all areas of the log where it appears. So if you get the Prospector's outfit from Motherlode, it'll also show up completed in the Volcanic Mine section. For doing Volcanic Mine, I have a 2-minute guide that was in a progress video, which I'll link that timestamp in the description. It's a solo method to cheese Volcanic Mine points to get the collection log done if you don't care to actually learn the minigame. It is very simple to do, and it's not bad mining XP either. To unlock that Ash Cover Tome, Large Water Container, and Volcanic Mine Teleport using this method takes about 4.5 hours. There's 3 tiers of mining gloves: Regular, Superior, and Expert, which you get from unidentified minerals. Unidentified minerals you get from mining in the mining guild, and the best way to get them is by mining iron. The faster you get the Expert mining gloves, the better, because it makes most other mining you do a lot more chill. It essentially gives rocks extra lives before they deplete. Like, you'll be able to mine an iron rock 4 times total before it depletes. You get an extra life for sandstone, you get an extra life for amethyst. Those are some other things a lot of people would find useful. It should take about 10 to 12 hours of mining iron in the mining guild to get those 3 gloves collection log slots done. Shooting stars is an extremely AFK activity with 2 log slots: the Celestial Ring, which is mainly for giving an invisible mining boost of +4, and star fragments, which you can use to recolor the mining outfit. You only need 1 star fragment for the collection log, but most players get 4 to recolor the whole outfit. It's only 1 click every 7 minutes, so most players spend a lot of time here and get well beyond the amount of stardust needed for the important items, and spend the leftovers on gem bags or soft clay packs. If you've been looking for an extremely AFK activity for while you work, well, you probably already knew about shooting stars, but in case you didn't, now you do. There's a bunch of collection log slots in the Camdazal mines. This involves fishing and smithing too, but I'm only going to have it in the mining section of this video since most of the time is spent mining, and I also don't feel like talking about it any more than I have to. It is very low level. It's like the free-to-play version of Motherlode Mine. You're going to get pretty bad XP during the time that you do have to spend here, so just hope you get good RNG for getting these items. And the final thing I have for mining is Volcano. Volcano used to be pretty bad mining XP. It was really a way to bank smithing XP, but with a recent update, you can now toggle whether you want to be rewarded with the normal resource drops or with XP instead. And whether you choose XP or resources, you'll still have the same chance to get the uniques as drops. Moving on to smithing, the main thing here is Giant's Foundry, and the currency at Giant's Foundry is called Reputation that you spend to buy all the log slots. You want to buy the molds first because having them all will greatly increase the XP and the reputation that you get. I wouldn't stress too much about the order you buy the molds, but I did find an old Reddit thread that claims this to be the efficient order. After you get the molds, then get the smith's outfit. Each piece has the same effect, so buy the cheapest pieces first. Wearing the full outfit speeds up your sword making process at Foundry, and outside the Foundry, it speeds up smithing at an anvil by 1 game tick. Smithing is normally a 5-tick action, but with the full outfit, it's 4 ticks, which means smithing in the outfit is 20% faster. After you get the outfit, all the other stuff doesn't matter, you can buy it in whatever order. The only other thing I can come up with for smithing collection logs I already mentioned, just the enhanced crystal keys for Dragonstone armor. So let's continue on to fishing. You should try to do fishing trawler as soon as possible. It only requires 15 fishing, and you get the outfit, which gives you a 2.5% XP boost. It also lets you fish minnows once you get level 82, which is a good way to get sharks for irons. It's also required for a master clue step, so you may as well get it as early as possible. To meet the drop rate for the full angler's outfit, it should take 4 to 5 hours, although I've heard reports that the angler's gloves are twice as rare as the other pieces. You can also get the angler's outfit from aerial fishing, but it takes way longer, and I think you'll be very glad to not have spent 400 mulch pearls to to buy the outfit there. If you're aerial fishing at max efficiency with 99 fishing and hunter, it's 20 pearls per hour. But realistically, with the way the average player plays, you'll probably get 10 pearls per hour, which means if you want to get the outfit from aerial fishing, that'll take about 40 hours. In fact, with 400 mulch pearls, you could buy all the fishing rods from aerial fishing and have some left over to work towards the fish sack. After getting the fishing outfit though, I would go to Temperos and spend as much time there as you want, because you're probably not going to get all the log slots, especially the Temperos pet, by the time you get bored of it. For an Ironman, Temperos is pretty good resources early on in an account, but it's not bad fishing XP at any stage of your fishing journey. Although I would recommend staying at Temperos at least until you get the fish barrel, which allows you to store an extra inventory of fish. The only ways to get the Dragon Harpoon collection log slot nowadays is from Temperos or worms, and it's pretty rare, so good luck with that. When you go back to regular fishing though, there is the heron pet, which you cannot get from Temperos. Besides the big harpoon fish from Tempe, there are 3 other big fish: the big bass, big swordfish, and big shark. And you could only get these from fishing in normal fishing spots. What I mean by that is, like the big shark, for example, you could not get that from minnows. You could only get from actual harpoon / barehand fishing. And fun fact, if you're using Rada's Blessing and it procs to get 2 of a big fish, it only shows up once in the collection log. And that happened to me, as you could see with the big bass. Skill number 12 is cooking, and I don't really have much for this. Just 2 things, both of which I already mentioned. There's Trouble Brewing, which supposedly is good cooking XP, even from low levels, and good old aerial fishing. Cutting the fish does give you a tiny amount of cooking XP. Yeah, I can't think of any other collection log slots that are related to cooking that wouldn't be a massive stretch. On to lucky number 13, we have Firemaking. And the same thing comes to mind for probably every person, which is Vintatod, or Winter Todd, whichever you prefer. There's not much to say about this. The Dragon Axe you don't need to get from here because you'll get plenty from DKs later on. You probably won't even get the axe or the pet. Toma Fire is going to be, I think, like a 70% chance to get it by 99. But yeah, I mean, there's not much you could do about it. This is what most people do until 99 anyways, so me telling you this probably isn't much help. Then there's Shades of Morton. You'll get a bit of Firemaking XP going for that log. And one last idea for Firemaking is the Dragon Full Helm. It's 1 out of 256 chewed bones, and you get a little bit of Firemaking XP for each pirate ship you make for them. I know it's not much, but hey, maybe it'll spark someone's interest. Woodcutting is next, and I'm trying my best to resist the pun, because I don't know if I'm allowed to make 2 puns in a row. Okay, fine. Collection logs for woodcutting include the lumberjack outfit. You'd want to get it from temple trekking and rush through easy routes and skip any event that isn't undead lumberjacks, and it should take about 20 minutes for the whole set. This gives you a 2.5% woodcutting XP boost when you wear it. You can also get it from the forestry shop, but that costs a lot of anima bark, which is the forestry currency, and a lot of logs. At this point, if you're a main, you can buy a dragon axe and worry about getting the log slot later, but as an Ironman, you're probably not going to have the means to camp out DKs at this point for the axe. Maybe you got lucky from Winter Toad or safe spotting Rex while going for the B-ring, but don't stress about not having a dragon axe. It'll be a very easy slot later on. You can start doing forestry and work towards all of these slots. The only ones that may be a bit of an issue are the first 2, the fox whistle and the golden pheasant egg. I know it's tempting to go to redwoods once you hit level 90, but it would be ideal to do forestry until you get the whole log done, if you plan to eventually get it done and you don't like post 99 XP. It generally ends up being more XP than redwoods anyways, even before 90 woodcutting. Another section of the collection log is the Fossil Island notes. You turn in 100 Nemulite at a time, which is the Fossil Island currency, and you get a chance to get a random page to add to the Fossil Island notebook. You'll always get a page that you don't have, so you don't have to worry about dupes. And when I did this, it took me 3k Nemulite. The reason I'm putting this under woodcutting is because chopping Soleseps is a really good way to get Nemulite, and you get a lot of fossils too, which you can trade in for more Nemulite. I suppose I could have put this collection log section under Hunter and Herblore for Herbivore, or Mining for Volcanic Mine, or Thieving and Agility from the Underwater method. There's a lot of ways to get Nemulite, so really pick whatever you like and you'll get the notes done pretty fast. 3k Nemulite is not that much. And one more thing to mention for woodcutting is that when you chop trees, there's a 1 in 256 chance a bird nest falls out each time you would normally get a log, and if you wear the Twitcher's gloves from forestry and have them set to eggs, it'll be slightly more likely that the nest will have an egg in it. And the same thing with wearing a strong rabbit foot. The strong rabbit foot also works for birdhouse runs to make it very slightly more likely that nests you get will be egg nests. And with all these eggs, you could turn them in for chances at the evil chicken. The final skill for this video is farming. The main thing is tithe farm. You need at least 34 farming, and I'd say you should go for the whole log, maybe with the exception of the herb sack. You can also get from Slayer, so pick what you like more between tithe farm and Slayer to get the herb sack. While you're here, you may as well get auto weed. It's not a collection log slot, but still very useful. And then the only other things I could think of for farming for collection logs is the Hespori seed and the Hespori collection log. The only thing that might be a problem is the bottomless bucket at a 1 in 35 drop from Hespori. It takes 22 to 32 hours to grow, and Hespori seeds are untradeable. You have to get them either from farming other plants or from farming contracts. If you really want to, there is one way you can speed this up, which is by planting chrono seeds, ironically, that you get from Hespori, and that gives you a chance to skip farming growth ticks. If you do your normal farm runs on the road to 99 farming, you should always have more than enough Hespori seeds, whether you're a main or an iron. It's easy for mains because they could buy the best kinds of saplings, which in turn give the best chances at getting Hespori seeds. But it's also easy for irons because they tend to stay on top of their seaweed runs and farming contracts, which have good chances for Hespori seeds, and herb runs, which aren't as good for Hespori seeds, but you still get them. And we are done with all the skills, but there is one more final mention I have not related to any specific skill, which is clue scrolls. There's a crazy amount of collection log slots you get from clues, and clues can be kind of passive from skilling, as well as Slayer. By doing them as soon as you get them while you're on the road to maxing, it'll save you a lot of time later on when you realize that there's specific items you want to go for, especially as an Iron Man, like Ranger Boots or God D-Hide. Some people might argue it's not worth doing them as you get them because it takes too long to re-gear every time you get a clue, and that it's better to wait until you're specifically grinding out clues. But there's a Runecraft plugin that helps you re-gear back and forth between any activity in just seconds, which will make clues flow very well with any skilling or PVM activity you're doing. To find out more about the inventory setups plugin and many more useful Runecraft plugins, click the video on screen now.